With a new series premiering this Sunday on HBO, author George R. R. Martin has given a rare, wide-ranging interview to The Hollywood Reporter, breaking his long silence and offering insights into his long-delayed novel, The Winds of Winter, his expanding media empire, and the creative conflicts behind the scenes of this franchise. The link to the full article is in the description below. I never thought I'd live to be 77. I'm old, so I have some old people stuff. My lower back hurts sometimes. I don't like to stand around, but I feel okay. Maybe you should make that your headline. George R. R. Martin is not dying. And the reporter confirms that while he has lost weight, it's not due to any health issues. So it seems like his weight loss is a personal lifestyle choice, not anything serious. The article mentions how he gets driven around by his assistants, and he has normal old people problems, like his back or standing up for too long. So it seems like he doesn't drive anymore, and age is catching up to him in some small, ordinary ways. But responding directly to the fan who harassed him at Worldcon in August 2025,
George, you're not going to be around for much longer, and...
Martin said, quote, "I really didn't need that shit. Nobody needs that shit." The specter of the unfinished book, now 14 years in the making, looms large. Martin reveals that he has about 1,100 manuscript pages completed, a number that he's cited for a while, but admits that the sheer complexity of the book is daunting. Just for reference, this 1,100 number is the exact same number of pages that he gave in 2024 and 2025. So for 2 years, he has written few, if any, pages, as he admitted in 2024. The article further confirms that the culprit is exactly what most of the community has been speculating: the immense distraction of his own success. The global phenomenon of A Game of Thrones transformed him from a full-time author into a producer and a celebrity and an author, splitting his focus. The article notes that the success of Thrones was the best thing that could have happened to Martin and the worst thing that could have happened to the greatest story he ever wrote. Here's a list of just a few of the known works that he's got going at the moment: The Winds of Winter, House of the Dragon Season 3, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2, The Iron Throne stage play in London, England, AMC's Dark Winds TV show, Elden Ring, Meow Wolf immersive art, and multiple other A Song of Ice and Fire IPs at HBO, including an animated series about the Sea Snake, a short series or megafilm about Aegon's conquest, and a Game of Thrones sequel project headed by Kwok Dong Tron from Drops of God. George is highly productive. It's just that his focus isn't on wins right now, and he finally admits to it in this interview, saying that he blames the endless distractions from being a TV producer and a celebrity. Right now, it seems that his main focus has come back to Duncan Egg. Along with his obligations to HBO, it seems like his main focus is churning out a few more Duncan Egg novels so that he doesn't experience another Game of Thrones, where the showrunners run out of source material before they finish the series and make a bad ending based on his outlines. Quote, "The big issue is that I have only written 3 novellas, and I have a lot more stories about Duncan Egg in my fucking head. I've got to get them down on paper. I began writing 2 at various points in the past year. One is set in Winterfell, and one set in the Riverlands." Over his 2025 Christmas break, Martin revealed that he was, you guessed it, hard at work on more Duncan Egg. Quote, "I think I'll stay home. I have to write more Duncan Egg. There's supposed to be another Fire and Blood book, too. I do think if I can just get some of these other things off my back, I could finish The Winds of Winter pretty soon. It's been made clear to me that Winds is the priority, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for that. I'm so far behind on everything." George admits that he looks back on something like A Storm of Swords and doesn't know how he did that. "I will open the last chapter I was working on and say, oh fuck, this is not very good, and I'll go in and I'll rewrite it. Or I'll decide, this Tyrion chapter is not coming along, let me write a Jon Snow chapter. If I'm not interrupted though, what happens, at least in the past, is sooner or later I do get into it." George also reveals a little more about what happened in the past, giving a little bit of explanation about what happened in prior years when he made progress and when he didn't make progress. Most of the time, he writes at his DOS box at his old office, but he lives at a new house in Santa Fe and has to drive between them. However, there have been times when he tries writing somewhere else and it doesn't work out for him. George revealed that during his most productive stretch in the pandemic, He literally locked himself up in a cabin in the woods somewhere, but it resulted in a prolonged separation from his partner, Paris. And even then, not everything he wrote was actually good. Quote, I wrote a Tyrion chapter I just loved. Then I looked at it and said, I can't do this, it will change the whole book. I'll make this into a series of dreams. No, that doesn't work either. But when asked whether he's going to give up on Winds, George said, I would hate that. It would feel like a total failure to me. I want to finish. And he has no plans to hand the book over to another writer, even if he died in a horrible accident. As for where the story is going, George says, quote, I was going to kill more people, not the ones they killed. They made it more of a happy ending. I don't see a happy ending for Tyrion. His whole arc has been tragic from the first. I was going to have Sansa die, but she's been so appealing in the show, maybe I'll let her live. The article also confirms what fans have long speculated about online, that A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is being made due to budgetary concerns from HBO. House of the Dragon just costs too much, which is one of the reasons that Season 2 padded its runtime to push its big battle into the third season. Overall, I get the sense from this interview that George is genuinely frustrated by his own lack of progress and his perfectionism with his books, and it seems like his unfinished works are genuinely bothering him, and he's making an effort to complete as many as possible, starting with the small thing like Dunk and Egg, because those are only a couple of novellas and they're much easier to finish than an entire series of more books, right? He's got to finish Winds of Winter, and he's also got to finish A Dream of Spring, and then maybe even another book, and Fire and Blood is also a massive book, so it's a lot easier to tackle the small thing, Dunk and Egg, which he also has to tackle because he's got the pressure from the TV series already being greenlit for Season 2, and probably Season 3's around the corner as well, and then they're going to be caught up to where he's already written in A Dunk and Egg, so he's got the fire under him. I think this is a good sign for the series. I think we're going to get more content from him. We're probably going to see Dunk and Egg sometime soon, this year or maybe next year. We'll probably see one or two more Dunk and Egg novellas. So I think this is a good sign, and it's good to hear that George is still writing. And it's nice to get a frank answer from him as to what was really going on during those years when he was being very productive and when he wasn't being very productive. And I can also understand with his new explanation of what happened during the pandemic why he hasn't really done it again, and I can't say I really blame him. So anyways, that has been the last update on the Winds of Winter, and it will probably be the only update we get for 2025. Let me know in the comments whether this changed your opinions about George or the Winds of Winter at all, and what you think is coming next from George.